Since that 6-week abortion ban, better known as SB 8, went into effect in Texas last August, essentially the demand for at-home abortions has skyrocketed. And Aid Access, which is an organization that offers such abortions, well, it essentially sends these abortion-inducing pills to people who are less than 10 weeks along in their pregnancy. And here is more about this. So in the first week after SB 8 went into effect, which was about September 1st through the 8th, mean daily requests for help increased by over 1,000% over baseline, from 10.8 to 137.7 requests per day. Now, this chart provided by the JAMA network, it's really telling. Check this out. So over the following 3 months, that frenzy really calmed down somewhat to an average of, I think, about 29.5% requests per day. But that's still an increase of over 174% over pre-ban levels. And in just 1 month following the Texas ban, the number of abortion clinics performed, essentially the number of abortions they performed were cut in half. This is huge here. And it wasn't because people were getting fewer abortions, but by virtue of the fact that people were going elsewhere to get those abortions. Now, Vice reported this. On Thursday, Planned Parenthood announced that between September 1 and December 31st, its health centers in states that neighbor Texas saw an almost 800% increase in abortion patients from Texas. Oklahoma clinics in particular saw a nearly 2,500% increase in Texas patients compared to the previous year. Wow, these numbers alone, they are staggering and they are catching me off guard because who has seen percentage increases like this? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Where does this really sit with you? How does this resonate?
So one of the things I'll say about it is that, people on our side always said, look, people are gonna have abortions anyway. The question is it gonna be safe or is it gonna be unsafe? And they'll start having them at home. Well, here we are. So it's a little bit modern than the old days of the coat hangers, but I'm worried that, the direction this is going, we might get there too. And that depends on your income level. So you might have enough income to order a pill to take it home. You might have enough income to drive to Oklahoma. And if you have enough income, you'll take a flight to somewhere and make a vacation out of it. And I guarantee you the majority of those will be right-wing Texans. So you know why? Because everybody has abortions. And the right-wingers just pretend they don't. And they'll lie about it. Look, we've covered it 100 times on the show. Like literally sometimes protesters at abortion clinics will go inside and have an abortion and then come back and outside and hold a sign. And when asked by a reporter, they'll say, oh no, but I wasn't immoral. Everyone else in there is immoral. It was the wrong time in my life. Oh, I see, okay. So the number of abortions aren't going down at all. It's just you're making it harder and less safe. And you're especially making it harder on women who are poor and middle class. And when we talked about restricting access to abortion, well, that's exactly what's happened in Texas. And it was supposed to be unconstitutional, but we've got a Supreme Court that's 6-3 now in favor of the right wing. And for the moment being, they are allowing it.
Yeah, and I think that, the point you made was really spot on. We talk about, like you said, all the time about how really abortion is the most practical option for society. People do them. And it's easy to say like, oh, when they do it, they're wrong because, they're immoral and they're just sleeping around. And when they, they come from these homes and they just paint these pictures of people who come from these backgrounds to where nothing they do is good. But when I do it, well, it's because I love this person. And see, this was different. Obviously not. But again, like you said, this is something that can't be stopped. If it is, continue to be pushed, the black market is just going to open up for it. But more importantly, as you pointed out, the 6-3 court, don't put it past that court to end Roe v. Wade, and especially just the way things are going, not only because they can, but also because the Republican Party continues to pit itself and, just really get its back against the wall to where they can't move forward in any type of rational way, which really only means that they can really keep hitting the hammer, hitting that nail, and just keep going further and further to the right. So that's really all this indicates to me.
Yeah, and the way I see it is just as you all have noted, the fact is that people will continue to get abortions because this is healthcare, this is life, this is your options in your future. And if you are not in a place to raise a child, or maybe the health options aren't necessarily there, you should be able to make that decision for yourself and to take those liberties as an individual with full bodily autonomy. But unfortunately, because Texas wants to act up and restrict people from being able to have access to that, we're seeing this pressure being put on other states and other facility providers because people need this health care. And the thing is that we continue to see that really women are still going to take the risk necessary to seek access for help. It is something that will happen. And we also have further information on this from Vice. So according to its reports, relying on aid access also carries some legal risk. Self-managed abortions exist in a legal gray zone. And although only a handful of states explicitly outlaw the practice, experts say that if prosecutors want to charge someone for ending their own pregnancy, they'll find a way to do so. Telemedicine abortion is already banned in 19 states, but Texas has also now banned the use of medication abortion past 7 weeks of pregnancy, as well as imposed jail time and heavy fines on anybody who prescribes abortion-inducing pills through the mail, which is exactly what aid access does. And in fact, since 1973, when Roe v. Wade was decided, and we're looking at prosecutions, there's been at least 21 arrests for suspected self-induced abortions. That's according to If, When, and How. And while that may not sound like a lot, 21 since 1973, that is 21 too many, and it's enough to chill people from exercising their constitutional rights to decide about their health care and their body and whether they want to have a child. Jackson, Cenk, do you guys have anything else?
Yeah, I have one last or two last points real quick. The other day, Rick Scott put out the 11 points that he wants Republicans to fight for. He's the head of their re-election committee in the Senate, senator from Florida. And one of the points was that Republicans are in favor of the state not interfering with your family. The point right after that one was we should ban all abortions. I can't imagine interfering with your family and its decisions more than the decision to how many kids to have, when to have them. I mean, it's the most private decision you could possibly imagine. And Rick Scott and the Republicans go, I don't give a goddamn about your freedom. No, we're gonna take your freedom away. We're gonna take your ability to control your own body away. And so that's the kind of monsters they are. They're immoral, that's why they do it. By the way, some women have pregnancies that are not viable. And so medically, they require an abortion. That it's not a baby. It cannot be a baby. It is not viable. They go, we don't care. We don't care. You should go have a miscarriage in your home whenever it naturally happens. And if you wind up dying, that's your problem, not our problem, because we're pro-life. And finally, I don't really care what you think about my sex life. Oh, you shouldn't have had that kind of sex, and that is so you shouldn't be able to get an abortion because I thought the sex you were having was immoral. Well, that's none of your goddamn business. I live in a free country, and I'm gonna fight to keep it free and get you goons and thugs away from women's bodies that you're obsessed with controlling. I don't want you controlling women's bodies, and I don't want you judging what kind of sex they have or any of us have. That's the kind of perverts and immoral pricks Republican legislators are.
1,000%. And I think, my final point on this is that if there's any issue that really should inspire people to get involved in the process, it's definitely this one. Because this is one not only that impacts, poor minority communities and just Americans all over the country in general. But again, this isn't an issue where they will stop. So, if there's any issue that you really feel that you can get people inspired to get involved in the process, then really push this, because again, Roe v. Wade coming to an end at this point is definitely something that's very realistic.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.